We are living in an unprecedented era of space exploration, a new golden age where the dreams of our grandparents are becoming the engineering projects of our children. We're designing fusion rockets in laboratories, 3D printing habitats for other worlds, and watching as behemoth starships of gleaming stainless steel rise from the plains of Texas, promising to carry us to the moon, to Mars, and eventually beyond. The collective dream of our species to step off this pale blue dot and find a new home feels closer than ever. We see ourselves as pioneers, destined to spread life and consciousness throughout the cosmos. But what if we've become so obsessed with the journey, so focused on building faster ships and stronger radiation shields, that we've completely overlooked a potential flaw in our grand design? A flaw that isn't in the void between stars, but waiting for us patiently at our destination. We have spent a century figuring out how to survive the trip, assuming that a planet that looks like Earth will welcome us home. The terrible, beautiful truth is that the very thing we're searching for, the one sign that would make us cross trillions of miles of emptiness, the presence of life, might be the one thing that ensures we can never, ever leave our own solar system. The galaxy may be full of paradises, but they could be poisoned paradises, with the building blocks of life itself as the poison. For as long as we have looked up, we have wanted to go there. It's an ache woven into our cultural DNA, from ancient myths of gods in the heavens to modern epics of star-faring civilizations. The story we tell ourselves is one of upward and outward expansion. We are explorers. It's what we do. When the Earth was a vast wilderness, we built ships and crossed oceans. When the skies were a mystery, we built rockets and pierced the heavens. Now, as our telescopes reveal an astonishing tapestry of worlds orbiting other suns, the next ocean is calling, and the numbers are staggering. In just a few decades, our census of the galaxy has exploded. We now know for a fact that planets are the norm, not a rarity. Our galaxy is teeming with them, likely hundreds of billions. Statistically, a good number of these orbit within the habitable zone of their star, that Goldilocks region where liquid water could potentially exist on a planet's surface. We see them in our data, these tantalizing dots of light. Worlds like Kepler 452b, about 60% larger than Earth, orbiting a star like our own Sun, some 1,800 light-years away. From this distance, it's a ghost, a shadow passing in front of its star. But in our minds, it is a landscape. We imagine its continents, its oceans, its clouds. We wonder if its sky is blue, if it has mountains taller than Everest, if winds carry the scent of alien rain across its plains. This is the dream, to find a world like this, cross the unimaginable gulf of space, and set foot on a new Earth. To give humanity a second chance, a backup hard drive for our entire civilization. Now, I know what you're thinking. We already know it's hard. And you're right. The challenges we currently focus on are monumental. First, there's the tyranny of distance. The sheer scale of the cosmos is almost impossible to process. Our closest stellar neighbor, Proxima Centauri, is over 4 light-years away. To get there with Apollo-era technology would take tens of thousands of years. Even our fastest robotic probes are cosmically slow. As of late 2025, NASA's Parker Solar Probe has repeatedly hit astonishing speeds of 430,000 miles per hour as it dives toward the sun. That's fast enough to get from New York to Los Angeles in about 20 seconds. Yet even at that blistering pace, a journey to Proxima Centauri would still take nearly 7,000 years. Kepler 452b is 1,800 light-years away. A probe at that record-breaking speed would take almost 3 million years to arrive. To cross these distances in a human lifetime, we need a revolution in propulsion. Scientists are working on it, designing fusion rockets and conceptualizing vast solar sails pushed by powerful lasers. These are gargantuan engineering challenges, but, and this is the crucial point, we believe they're solvable. The path is there, however steep. We can, in theory, see how to build a faster engine. It's a problem of engineering, not a fundamental law of the universe telling us no. Then there's the cosmic gauntlet of radiation. The space between stars is filled with a constant rain of galactic cosmic rays, subatomic bullets that shred DNA and cause devastating long-term health effects. Our planet protects us, but in deep space, the dose would be immense. So we engineer solutions. Thick hulls made of water-rich materials, or powerful magnetic fields that act like a portable version of Earth's own magnetosphere. Again, this is an immense challenge of mass and power, but it's seen as a problem of how, not if. Finally, there's the challenge of the vessel itself, the generation ship, a world in a bottle. For any journey that might take centuries, the crew that arrives will be the distant descendants of those who left. The ship must be a perfectly self-contained biosphere. We've tried this before. The Biosphere 2 project in the 1990s was the most ambitious attempt in history to create a closed ecosystem. It taught us a profound lesson in humility. Things went wrong almost immediately. Oxygen levels plummeted. Invasive vines choked out crops. Most of the pollinators died. The crew grew hungry and fractured into factions. Biosphere 2 wasn't a failure. It was a priceless lesson. It showed us just how little we understand about the intricate web of life that sustains us. Replicating it perfectly is beyond us right now. But even here, we see a path forward. We learn, we model, we design. It's a problem of mind-boggling complexity, but we frame it as the ultimate systems engineering challenge. Solvable in time, distance, radiation, and life support. These are the great mountains we have placed before ourselves. But what if we've been focused on the wrong problem entirely? What if, after a 1,000-year journey, our descendants arrive at a green, watery, Earth-like world, only to discover that the planet itself is a biological minefield? This is where the true potential fatal flaw of interstellar colonization reveals itself. So what is this potential fatal flaw? It's the assumption that a planet that can support life can support our life. We search for biosignatures, oxygen, methane, the red edge of vegetation, as if they're a welcome mat. But the truth could be far more terrifying. The very building blocks of an alien ecosystem, its fundamental biology, could act as a subtle, pervasive, and inescapable poison to us. We may not just be biologically different from hypothetical alien life. We may be biochemically and lethally incompatible. To understand why, we have to go down to the level of the molecules themselves. Life on Earth is built from a specific menu of organic molecules, amino acids for proteins, sugars for energy, and nucleotides for DNA. We assume life elsewhere might follow a similar carbon-based pattern. But even if an alien life form uses the exact same amino acids and sugars, a hidden trap could be waiting. It's a property called chirality. Chirality is simply handedness. Many important biological molecules exist in two forms that are mirror images of each other, just like your left and right hands. In chemistry, these are called enantiomers. You can have L amino acids, left-handed, and D amino acids, right-handed. Here on Earth, for reasons we still don't fully understand, life chose a standard. All living things use exclusively left-handed amino acids to build proteins and almost exclusively right-handed sugars for energy. When life arises on another world, there's no reason to assume it would make the same arbitrary choice. It's a coin flip. A biosphere could just as easily be built on right-handed amino acids and left-handed sugars. If that's the case, a planet that looks like paradise could become a biological death trap in a few horrifying ways. First, the simplest problem. We would land on a completely inedible world. Imagine stepping out onto a planet overflowing with lush alien vegetation. The air is breathable. The water is pure. You're surrounded by calories, but you would starve to death. Every plant, every fruit, every piece of alien flesh would be made of D amino acids, the mirror image of what our bodies are built to recognize. Our digestive enzymes are like molecular locks shaped for specific keys. An alien protein made of D amino acids would be like trying to unlock your front door with a mirror image key. It looks almost right, but it simply won't fit. You could feast like a king and die of starvation. But it gets much, much worse. That scenario assumes our bodies simply can't process these mirror molecules. The second scenario is what happens if they can, at least partially. What if our cells mistakenly absorb mirror image amino acids and try to use them? This could lead to a nightmare called protein misfolding. Proteins are chains of amino acids that must fold into a precise three-dimensional shape to work. Now, imagine a single right-handed amino acid gets into the mix. It acts like a kink in the chain, forcing the entire protein to fold incorrectly. This misfolded protein is, at best, useless. At worst, it's toxic, clumping together into aggregates that clog up the cell and trigger cell death. We see this on Earth with diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. An influx of alien mirror molecules from the dust and water could trigger a slow, irreversible poisoning of your entire body. This brings us to the third, and perhaps most terrifying scenario: the unseen enemy. Our immune system has spent millions of years evolving to recognize specific molecular patterns on earthly microbes. An alien microbe, built from a completely different set of rules, might not have these patterns. It would be a ghost. An alien bacterium could enter your lungs, and our immune system would be utterly blind to it. It wouldn't need to be malicious. It could just be a simple organism consuming resources and reproducing. But because our body has no idea it's there, it could multiply completely unchecked, leading to a catastrophic, system-wide infection before we even knew we were sick. This isn't just a wild guess. A 2020 study in Science Advances touched on this chilling possibility. Researchers created synthetic peptides, short chains of amino acids, that included a type found in meteorites, but not in terrestrial life. When they exposed mouse T cells to these peptides, the immune response was significantly weaker compared to the response to familiar, Earth-only peptides. While a lab study, it points directly to the fear our immune system specialization could be a fatal vulnerability. It would be the perfect plague, a pathogen for which we have no recognition, no defense, and no evolutionary history. This idea that every habitable world is a potential biological death trap is a heavy one. It fundamentally reframes our place in the universe. If you're finding this deep dive into the chilling side of science fascinating, consider subscribing. We tackle these big, thought-provoking questions every week, and your support makes it possible. Now, let's explore what this really means for our future among the stars. If this hypothesis is true, if biochemical incompatibility is the rule, then the consequences for our interstellar ambitions are profound. It changes everything. The thousands of exoplanets we've discovered are no longer potential new homes. They become a cosmic museum, filled with beautiful but untouchable exhibits. A planet like Kepler 452b ceases to be a destination. We can study it with telescopes like the James Webb, marvel at the evidence of its alien forests and oceans. But we must do so from 1,800 light-years away, separated by a biological gulf no spaceship can cross. The galaxy transforms from an empty canvas into a gallery of walled gardens, each a unique and isolated experiment in life. We can look over the walls, but we can never enter. The prime directive from Star Trek, often seen as a moral choice, becomes a biological imperative. The danger of contamination runs both ways. Our earthly microbes could be just as devastating to an alien ecosystem. A single sneeze from an astronaut could trigger an extinction-level event. The mandate to look, but don't touch, becomes the first and most important rule of interstellar exploration. But this doesn't mean the end of space exploration. It simply and dramatically redefines it. It forces us to turn our gaze away from the distant stars and back to our own cosmic backyard. Our future as a multiplanetary species might not lie in crossing the interstellar ocean, but in settling the islands of our own solar system. Places like the Moon and Mars, once seen as stepping stones, suddenly become the main event. Their defining characteristic is not their hostility, but their sterility. And that sterility is their greatest asset. Mars is a brutal, frozen desert, but it's a world of geology and chemistry, not biology. Its challenges are engineering challenges. There are no alien microbes in the Martian soil waiting to silently dismantle our biology. The sterility of Mars is a feature, not a bug. It's a clean slate. This is why the focus of companies like SpaceX on colonizing Mars makes such pragmatic sense. As of late 2025, timelines for Mars are famously fluid and have been subject to repeated delays. While ambitious goals for uncrewed missions in the late 2020s and crewed missions to follow exist, they should be seen as speculative targets, not firm guarantees. The goal remains to build a second branch of human civilization on a world we can make our own, precisely because it isn't already home to another form of life. The same is true for the Moon. NASA's Artemis program is steadily working towards returning humans to the lunar surface. The crewed Artemis II flyby mission is currently scheduled for 2026, with the Artemis III landing to follow sometime in mid-2027 or later. The Moon is our closest celestial body, a desolate, airless rock, but it is a safe, sterile proving ground where we can learn to live off-world without biological risk. This concept also provides a chillingly elegant new candidate for the Great Filter. The Great Filter is a thought experiment that tries to solve the Fermi paradox, the contradiction between the high probability of alien life and the complete lack of evidence for it. What if the Great Filter is biochemical? What if every intelligent civilization is, like us, born into a biosphere tuned to its own unique chemistry? What if they all look out at a universe of habitable planets, only to discover that every single one is a poison pill? In this scenario, every civilization is trapped in its home solar system, able to listen for radio signals, but never able to meet. So, what does this mean for our dreams of human footprints on a world in another star system? It means we must confront a humbling possibility that our destiny is not what we thought. The fundamental biochemistry that makes us alive may be our permanent, inescapable cage. If this is true, it forces us to look back at our own planet with new eyes. If interstellar colonization is impossible, Earth is transformed. It's not just our home. It may be our only home. Its perfect compatibility with our life isn't a given. It's a precious, singular miracle of a shared 4 billion-year evolutionary journey. Every protein in a blade of grass, every bacterium in the soil, they are our biochemical family. We aren't just living on Earth. We are Earth. This planet may not be a cradle we're meant to leave, but our entire universe. But this doesn't have to be an ending. It can be a new beginning. It redefines our purpose. If we cannot be colonists, then we must become the ultimate explorers. Our destiny may not be to settle the galaxy, but to understand it. We will explore, not with boots on the ground, but with robotic probes and ever more powerful telescopes. We will be the galaxy's cartographers, its librarians, its astronomers, sending robotic avatars to be our eyes and hands on 1,000 alien worlds. Perhaps this limitation isn't a flaw at all. Perhaps it's a feature, a cosmic design that protects each unique biosphere from being overwhelmed by a single aggressive form of life. It would ensure the galaxy remains a place of immense biological diversity. The galaxy, then, is not an empty frontier to be claimed, but a treasure to be protected. Our relationship with it shifts from conquest to stewardship. The human story may be forever bound to this solar system, but our minds can still roam the entire universe. We may be confined to our island, but from its shores, we can still chart every star and every world in the cosmic sea. And perhaps, in that understanding, we will find a deeper and more meaningful destiny than simply planting flags on distant shores. What do you think? Is this biological barrier the true final frontier? Or will we find an ingenious way around this fundamental problem? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And for more journeys into the biggest questions of science, make sure to subscribe.